Welcome once again to the Sage. Thank you, as always, for your presence. Your being with us means a great deal to us. We value it, and thank you for the comments, for the suggestions, for the interaction. Keep it coming. We can't do without it. It helps us improve and it helps us cater to your needs. Today we continue a discussion that's been ongoing. We've had a series of episodes, if you've been with us for the past few weeks, in which we looked at that very important objective of building our nation. We have all agreed that no matter what is happening, no matter what has happened, that we are potentially a great country, that we have the resources, that we have been richly endowed, and that as a people, in the end, our collective will has power, and that if we all continue to believe and to work for the greatness of our country, that we will indeed achieve greatness. And in line with that, we've treated a lot of topics recently related to areas we thought were key sectors for nation building. And so we have discussed creative arts. We've looked at religion as an important factor for nation building. We've looked at the family, the important place it has, and many more. We also started looking at education. We've had a few guests come talk about education and its strategic role. Education, we still feel that it is key. Today, that discussion continues in a very, very exciting way. Hang on, I'll tell you later. I haven't quite finished. Because why education? To us, it seems crystal clear, but perhaps to be on the safe side, we need to again remember why. It seems obvious that education is so important, but I think let us remind ourselves of why. Education is a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, habits, and usually it is effected through teaching, training, or research. Education can be formal or informal. Many times when we think of education, many of us remember the formal education sector. And therefore, we think about education in schools, in colleges, in universities, and through self-directed learning. But also, education can be something that is self-directed, done by the individual, formally or informally, through furthering his knowledge about things and about life. And generally, usually, the goal of education is to promote personal and intellectual growth. It prepares a person for life, for the future, for challenges, and allows each person, if well educated, to contribute maximally to the development of the society. And so, given that kind of definition and that kind of explanation, education is naturally crucial for nation building. Again, let me elaborate more. Why? It is crucial for so many reasons. So many reasons. Where do I begin? I will just name a few. I'm sure many of you, our audience, know many in your own mind and are thinking about it and saying it. But some of the major ones include the fact that, for instance, it fosters human capital. A well-educated citizen is such important resource and contribution to our society, to our nation, to our world. Education drives economic growth. an educated workforce is essential for productivity, for innovation, for all the important things that lead to economic advancement. Education promotes social cohesion. It is through education that we encourage shared values, that we're able to address issues of inequalities and to build a sense of national identity, which is so important for our country. Because many times our problem as Nigeria is the fact that we're not sharing a sense of national identity. We see ourselves as disparate, as different. Education is the tool to use to address those things. Education enhances governance. If we have an educated government, let me use that word, even though we're supposed to by constitution, they would truly do what is right. If we have educated citizenry, we'll be more likely to accept and effect the democratic process. Education improves health. I mean, that is also obvious. If you understand the need to be healthy, I could go on and on and on. Technology, improvement in technology, even improvement in cultural practices. Everything is through education. Within the family, we educate our young as we try. That is the first place they encounter education. So I could go on and on and on, but I think the argument is clear and undisputable. Education is critical, and education is important for nation building. And so to discuss it, we are bringing a very exciting perspective to you today on set. I think there's a particular demographic that education is most crucial to. Our young people. They are beneficiaries of education. They are products of education. And they are probably the longest and more prolific users of the results of education. And so on set with us today are three talented, wonderful young people who have kindly agreed to come on set and talk about what education means to them, what it's done for them, what they think needs more to be done collectively as a nation so that education can indeed be the strategic tool it needs to be for nation building. Welcome back. Before we went on break, we promised to introduce you to the three amazing young people we have on set. Young people, brilliant themselves, very much part of the system, who are going to share their own insights, their own journey, and their own take on this important issue of education. Please welcome on the stage. I see this lovely young lady at that end. I like ladies first. Okay, yeah, start from the lady right at my extreme left. Faith Olaniyi, who is the CEO of Choo Choo Stars Academy. We're very proud of her. I'm very proud. She's a C4C fellow. She's also an educationist herself, doing her bit towards educating young children. And so appropriate for this show. Faith, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Next is a lovely young man, whom I met not long ago. Let me use that word. Jonathan Onipe is a creative artist, a creative person. He's the founder of Absolute Poetry Nigeria. You're welcome to the set.
Thank you, Ma.
Met him only recently and been very intrigued with the many wonderful things he's done in his short life. I think his life is short. I'm sure he doesn't think so. But from the vantage point of mother and grandmother, it is. I'm pleased to have you on set.
Thank you, Ma.
And last but not the least is a face all the viewers are very familiar with, I'm sure, for the many of you who have followed us on the stage, is Eric Ochibo, the CEO of St. James Pond. Again, proudly a C4C fellow. Indeed, one of the foundation fellows, the very first set we brought on and supported as he set up his business. And we're very proud of him. Also proud of his many accomplishments, including becoming a father a few months ago. You're so welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much, yes.
So great. I do assure you that we couldn't have picked a better three to talk to you. And so let's dive in. Where do I start? Let me start with the lady. I mean, since I did ladies first, let me continue. Let me start with Faith. Let me say, for you, what has been your educational journey? What has been your career? Did you go to school, or perhaps you didn't and we picked you by mistake?
Okay. My name is Faith. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Mommy. I have my first degree is in educational management from Ambrosali University, Ekoma in Edo State. My second degree is from Obafemi Awolowo University, where I earned masters in educational administration. So currently, I'm an educationist. I love teaching. I love children. I love to impact. So I've gone through school, like you've asked. I'm not a dropout.
So did you go to secondary school and primary?
Of course.
When did that happen?
Okay, my primary school was also in Lagos. I schooled in Lagos, Jefta Private School. And amazingly, that's my father's school too.
Okay,
yes.
That is interesting. He was running
the school is still running till date in Lagos.
So that makes me feel convinced that you have the best.
Yes.
You know, he's not going to, when he trains his children, he will make sure he puts in his best.
Of course he did, although he's late. Yes. Then my secondary school, I finished from St. Joseph Secondary School, Idimangoro, Lagos also. So I have first living certificate, secondary school, BSc and master's degree.
Wow, wow. That is quite an accomplishment. Well done, my dear. Because in this our country, you know, unfortunately, it's no mean achievement. The perseverance that it takes to go through it all and get a second degree is commendable.
Thank you, Mom.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Mom.
So, Jonathan, let's turn to you. What about you?
Okay, so yes, I went to school and I have my certificates.
To prove it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so and then I'm a child. I'm the sixth child of two lecturers.
Okay.
Yeah. So my dad, who is now late, studied business administration and then continued to teach at the Ahmadu Bello University. So school, he was very big on school. There's nothing, even if you are not his child, you come and stay with him for a while. You must go to school. You have to go. Or even if he doesn't have it, he will urge you to.
He understood the importance of education.
And then my mom too, she's a lecturer and she's an educationist, so she owns her own school.
Wow, it looks as if by a strange coincidence we're getting parents who own their own school.
Yes. So she has her own school and the primary secondary school. So I got my love for children from her. I spent so much time around her and she always with children, always wanted to carry them. So I grew that bond too. And so yes, I went to school.
Did you go to her school as well?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I was already my SS
by the
when
time
the school was well established.
Yeah.
So yes, I went to the primary school at Kano Federal Government College Staff School. And then I continued, I came to Abuja to finish my secondary school and also did my university degree. So I studied English at the University of Abuja.
Okay. Are you still getting ready for your masters?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, because we always,
As time
we
passes.
parents, we always keep pushing.
Yes.
And no education, in my opinion, is ever wasted. Whatever else you end up doing in life, in terms of a business or whatever, that education grounding that you get is never a waste. I have a sister who came out honors in chemistry, and so is full time today. And she says, she started by teaching for some time after she graduated, but in the end, bowed to her passion for designing and dressmaking. And she insists that the skills she learned in chemistry and physics, she still applies them to her dressmaking and design production. So no education is ever wasted. It hones your mind and makes you better at whatever else you go on to do. Yeah. So Eric, last but not the least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You broke slates, right?
Yeah. Different from my colleagues here. My father was a teacher, but never owned a school.
Yeah, but at least he was
Yeah,
also
he was a teacher.
Yeah.
Then he left for politics later and became a parliamentarian. I went to school. He insisted we all went to school. So I had my first degree in Kogi State University. He's also a strong Catholic, so he insisted I went to St. Kizito Seminary in Ida.
Really?
So I studied in the minor seminary, where I had my first school living certificate. Then
Seminaries also taking people who don't necessarily go on to be priests.
yes, for those who go to the minor seminary, it's the equivalent of the regular secondary school. It's just that you are given a training of a Catholic priest, like somebody who is in a major seminary. So you are graduated to be a father or to be a reverend father. So
Either a biological father,
father
or a reverend father.
Now,
Okay.
for those who continue to the major seminary, they are trained to become reverend fathers. But for those who leave after the minor seminary, could become fathers. What the church actually really wants is responsible priests, responsible fathers, and to build a very wonderful society. So that's the idea behind the minor seminary. And I would recommend every child to try that. It's a very wonderful place to be.
Okay.
Then I also had my primary education in Peace Nursery and Primary School in Makodi, and then Nigerian Prison Staff School finally when I finished. Yeah, so my second degree is coming up already in Nasarawa State University. Originally,
What was the first one? Did we get?
Kogi State University.
Okay. What was
Okay,
it?
I studied history and international relations.
Okay.
in Kogi State
That's
University.
interesting. History and
Yeah.
that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it was Nigerian and African history.
Yes, Nigerian.
Because in
history.
my time,
In fact,
believe
my
it or
project-
not,
my
we
project
didn't
was
do
on
Nigerian history.
Nigerian history.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Nigerian history, do a lot of a few of European history as well, but more of African history and Nigerian history. Then, so like I said, my second degree will commence in December this year with Nasarawa State University. That process is already ongoing.
What is the course you want to do first?
Strategic communications.
I think perhaps we should think about featuring it as well as a strategic for nation building.
Yeah.
Because I think part of our problem in this country is inability to communicate effectively.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is also a very, very important thing to study.
Yeah.
And we wish you well.
Thank you.
Wish you well.
Yeah.
So you will agree with me that we have been blessed by very, very accomplished young people on set. And therefore we're poised and excited as we go on to listen to them and get their own take on this issue of nation building and education and the critical role it needs of necessity to play. So you will agree with me that we were indeed lucky. We hit a jackpot. We have 3 wonderful young people, very knowledgeable, but also very clearly educated themselves. Some with multiple degrees, some, poised to embark on further education because they do see a need and a belief in the importance of education for themselves as young people, as human beings, but also collectively for us as a country. And so there's still so much to learn from them. There's still so much to discuss with them. We shall go on to talk about what was the actual experience? How did it happen? What were the lows? What were the highs? And then we shall also discuss and get from them, benefit from their wisdom as young people, the strongest beneficiaries of education, what we all need to do together to ensure that the majority of our people, particularly our young people, have quality education. And so some of these additional important discussions will happen, but stay with us, because not this time, but next week, when we will continue this discussion on education and discuss concretely with them about what they actually went through as they got educated and acquired their degrees. Stay with us. Do tune in next week as we continue with our 3 wonderful young people. We thank you. See you next week.